Sydney is a young city. Its style is young, its buildings are young, even its bridges are young, relatively speaking. But in the east, there stands something a little more timeless. St. Mary's was built in 1868 and brought with it the sounds of the old world echoing from its bell tower. "14 bells regularly ring out across the young city. And looking after them are the bellringers of St. Mary's, a group of men and women between 25 and 85 who climb the narrow staircase whenever the bells are called upon to speak.
I actually find it a very spiritual experience.
It keeps me fit. Cooperation, coordination and concentration, all of which I failed.
I think for me it's about the community. Yeah.
Which is an arcane art, and it has its own language.
I like the tenor bell when it's got a really resonant tone. And
with a combined sound of all the bells, when you finally get them to all be ringing in sequence, well spaced, and making those changes.
6 to 4. So we ring two different types of styles. So we ring methods, which is a predetermined pattern which we've got memorised in our heads, and we all ring the same line but at different times. We don't have music stands in front of us, we have it all by memory. And this is these are the methods that we ring. Yes, it's a combination of counting and having a sense of rhythm. Sense of rhythm is really important because a bell actually physically moves around 360 degrees. So we actually got to catch the sadi, the fluffy bit, it's called the sadi. We catch that in the same spot. If you catch it too high, the bell will ring a little bit too early. If you catch it too low, it'll ring too late.
The bell, in actual fact, doesn't sound until it's actually vibrated. Once the clapper hits the inside of the bell, the sound goes round and actually crosses, then comes out and then vibrates out. And it's tuned with 7 particle notes from the crown to the lip of the bell, and the strike note and the strike point is just inside. If you can just see that on the handbell there, that's the strike point.
Bells are one of humanity's oldest forms of mass communication. Their call, by turns solemn, poignant, joyful, ominous, and celebratory, has accompanied and guided us through the ages. In the medieval world, where church bells were first rung, their sounds were considered celestial. In a time with little man-made noise, the clanging, ringing, calling of the bells must have been to human ears as the voice of God. This sound was believed to drive away demons, and thus the bells were often rung at times of death, including executions, where the final words in service were followed by one last peal of the bells. As the years moved on, the technology behind bell ringing advanced in turn, and now the most popular technique is to mount the bells to a wheel, allowing 360 degrees of movement.
So the first thing you probably notice is that the bells are upside down. To us, they're the right way up. Because the bell, actually, when we ring a bell, it's not just the clapper hitting the side of the bell. The whole bell moves 360 degrees all the way around. What's keeping this bell upside down is it's not perfectly upside down, it's slightly at an angle. And we have this piece of wood here, and it's called a stay, because it keeps the bell still. And down the bottom here, we've got another piece of wood called a slider. The reason it's a slider is because when the bell moves around 360 degrees, this piece of wood slides across the track to over here, so we can stop the bell on the other side, on the other stroke as we call it. And that little piece right there is where all the force of the bell is being applied. A bell doesn't have one note, it has several notes, and it's got a very distinct shape. So down on the side here, it's almost straight up, and then it slightly comes out a little bit. And the thickness between here and here is very different to here And here, you just see some shadows along this bell here, along the edge there. That is from where someone has gone around with a giant lathe basically and tuned the bell manually, just trying to get the right note. Every bell has one rope, every rope has one ringer.
We feel very privileged that we get to come up here, and it adds to my faith, and I love that it's a contribution to the community, the sound of the bells ringing out over the city, and I just think it's magical. Look 2, Treble's going, she's gone.